Sanbaitskano, I'm Grace Brown. You're watching Talk With Me. Sanbaitskano utsukchite. Hello and welcome to this edition of Talk With Me. I'm Grace Brown. My guest today is Ц.Энхжin 7-, the Miss World Mongolia 2017. 24-year-old Ц.Энхжin 7- is a model and interior designer with her own design firm, Eden Design, in Ulaanbaatar. She graduated from Cambridge University before doing a master's in product design at the University of Florence. As well as a trained designer, 7- is also a pageant veteran. She finished 4th runner-up at the Miss Friendship International 2010 in Korea before competing in the Supermodel International competition in Thailand 2 years later and placing in the top 10. Besides designing and modeling, she's passionate about reducing soil pollution with a focus on the Ger districts of UB. Thank you so much, Ц.Энхжin, for having us here. It's great to be here at a Made Interior Furnishing, and we'll talk more about your own design company later in the show. But first, tell us, how did you get into modeling?
I began modeling when I was 15, and my first competition was called Young Model. It was in 2008. And that time I was very confident that I'll win in that competition, but I didn't get any nominations and awards. And since that time I started to develop myself in all aspects.
So maybe it was a blessing in disguise, not getting what you wanted straight away.
Yes.
And tell us about the upcoming competition for Miss World, which will be held in China. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm very excited to start the journey at Miss World and to meet all the other talented representatives from all around the world.
How did you go from being a 15-year-old model who didn't win anything to becoming Miss World Mongolia?
After a year, I started to learn modeling courses. I started to take modeling classes at Zagor. It's a fashion center in Mongolia, and after a year I started to work as a professional model at Mongolia's Designers Association, and I worked there for 2 years. And while working there as a professional model, I have participated in several international beauty pageants and modeling competitions.
Right, wow. So you just realized what you wanted to do, and then you started doing everything towards that, basically. That's the secret, right?
Since I was 2-3 years old, my dad used to announce me as Miss Ц.Энхжin, and I would wave my hand and walk around our home. And so I guess it was my childhood dream, and that's why.
So your dad and your mom must be very proud now.
Yeah, they are very happy that I'm going to represent my country.
And what was your childhood like? Tell us about that. Did you grow up here in UB?
Yes, I was born and raised in Ulaanbaatar, and my childhood is full of bright memories, I would say. Yeah, my parents raised me with so much love, and they always supported me, and they always taught me that they always told me that I can do well, and I can complete my goals, and I can be anyone. Yeah.
And what would you say going into the Miss World competition, which will be held in Guangzhou and Sanya?
Yes.
What would you say is your greatest strength going into this competition?
My passion and dedication, as I always wanted to participate in Miss World, and I worked really hard to create the person who I am today. So I believe that this is my year, so I'll try my best to participate successfully and to represent our nation at its best.
What do you think is the biggest challenge for a Miss World Mongolia going into this kind of competition? I mean, I've heard from other Mongolian models that, particularly from Chinese models, the competition is fierce around the world, and that brands often want to have a Chinese model because of the Chinese consumer market. Do you feel daunted by that, and how can Mongolia continue or still have a competitive advantage?
In my opinion, there are only 3.1 million of us, and getting support from everyone is a big challenge for Miss Mongolia. So we really need to work hard and to present ourselves so that we can get votes from everyone. So other more populated countries, they can get votes easier than us, I would say, as there are more population. But for us, we really need to work hard to show ourselves, I guess.
So it forces you to make yourselves a higher quality
Yes.
in order to compete on that
Yes,
global
I
stage
think so.
up against such big countries. Yes.
Yes.
So you've been to China before, correct?
Yes, I've been there several times. As my sister used to study in Beijing, and I used to go there once in a month or once in a semester.
Are you
Yes.
excited to go back?
Yeah, I haven't been there for almost 3 years, so I'm excited to see. I've never been to Guangzhou and Sanya before,
Yeah.
so I'm excited to see those cities.
Well, it should be very nice and warm still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not quite like here.
Yeah, here it will be freezing cold.
How are preparations going for this competition? What have you heard, and also how are you yourself preparing?
My preparation is going well, but I'm having very busy schedule, and I've been working really hard to perfect my preparation so I can participate in all the 5 main competitions successfully. So currently I'm focusing on my talent and also on my multimedia event.
The video which you have to submit before.
Yeah, I've already made the videos.
Can you tell us about the video?
Yes. For my introduction video, we have filmed it mainly in Hinti, which is Buryat province, and because my grandfather was born there. And
Hinti is beautiful.
Yeah, it has a very beautiful nature. So we aim to show our nomadic lifestyle in a simple way. We have showed our daily life in our videos.
Hello, my 7 billion brothers and sisters. I'm greeting from the land of nomads. Life is a gift from the nature. The Mother Earth helps us to find our true self. We consider the sky as our father and the land as our mother. As a part of the nature, we love our land as our parents. Over the 6,000 years, our culture has evolved and followed the laws of nature. I'm very proud of my father, who summited the Everest twice. He says one must overcome the storms and thunders that life throws to your face. I'm climbing my own mountain. Us Mongolians cultivate from other nations' cultures, and now we are here to share the secret of preserving the beauty of the nature. I'm Angie from Mongolia.
And what about your talent? What are you doing for that?
For my talent show, I'm preparing traditional dance with johoks.
What are johoks?
It's like an instrument that you play with your tongue.
Really?
And with your breathing technique.
Oh, is it the one that sounds like a kind of like a beatbox? Is it like
yeah,
that?
kind of like you
bang,
played
bang,
like
bang,
the,
bang.
yeah, exactly that one.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
Wow, that'll be really cool.
Yeah, and the
That
main,
looks so difficult.
yeah, it was kind of difficult, but it was very interesting for me to learn it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, again, something very unique and different.
Yeah, and I heard that the history of this instrument comes from Mongolia, and Mongolian people used to play this instrument in the evening in nature, and they believe that it connects sky with the land. So all of my everything I prepared is connected to that. I'm trying to show that Mongolian people are connected to the nature, and we love and respect our nature like it's our family. And so even my talent show is going to show that idea.
That's exciting. And speaking of nature, you're very passionate about water. Is that correct?
Yes, water, and so I chose for my Beauty with a Purpose project soil pollution problem in Mongolia.
Yeah, it's a really big problem, especially here in Ulaanbaatar. Apparently 30% of the soil is contaminated, particularly around the Gur districts where half of the population live without running water, sanitation, you know, toilets, central heating.
Yes.
It's a really big problem. Have you come up with any solutions, potential solutions for that?
Yes, due to our harsh weather, septic system is the most appropriate treatment solution that can be used in Mongolia. It's a self-contained underground wastewater system, and it purifies water up to 80%, and it absorbs in soil, so it's the most sustainable solution that can be used in Mongolia. And there are already projects that has used this system, so it's already tested and
tested here in Mongolia?
Yeah, tested here in Mongolia, and it's also cost efficient, so it's a system that can be used here.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Hopefully in future it can be further developed here. Is that something that you would want to focus on if you do win?
I'm seeking to solve the sanitation problem in most in need domestic public schools sanitation problem, especially in countryside. There are still schools that use outdoor wooden toilets. So during winter, kids will have to go outside in minus 40 degrees to go to the toilet. So it's causing many infectious diseases. So it's a serious problem that needs to be solved now, and we need to take an action from now. So that's why I chose this topic, and I'm hoping to get help from the NGOs from all around the world, and I hope to raise awareness and to help the most vulnerable people in Mongolia.
A lot of people might say that, you know, what's the point of having a beauty pageant? But would you argue that models such as yourself can be models in many ways other than simply beauty? I mean, you've mentioned you want to highlight Mongolia's beautiful culture and love of nature, that you want to bring awareness to important issues like sanitation.
Yes, I believe that Miss World is much more than a beauty pageant. I believe that it's a big project that can save the world and that can make a change in this world. And all the representatives are trying to solve one of the most important issues that their country is facing. So I believe, like, if we all work hard and try hard, we can really make a change, and we can all unite, and so that everyone can work together to make real changes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And you yourself studied at Cambridge as well as in Italy, right?
Yes.
How did that experience overseas shape you? And how did it compare to your time studying in Mongolia?
Through all the experiences I had in the UK and in Italy, I have found my true life purpose, and I have understood that my life purpose is to help others and to create something extraordinary that makes people's life easier. So I see this as my duty to help others, and by using my designer background, and I want to improve living conditions of the vulnerable people in Mongolia. Not only in Mongolia, I hope in the future I could help people who are facing very difficult lives. Out of 7 billion people, there are 3.1 billion people who do not have proper sanitation. So I hope...
That's an extraordinary number, isn't it?
Yeah, so I hope this issue will be solved.
Which aspect of design are you particularly interested in?
Our company...
Eden.
Yes, our company, Eden Design, does interior design and also exterior design. And also we produce products for our projects. For instance, like if we design a house, then we can make all the artworks, and we can also make the furnitures.
Wow, that's great. I mean, it certainly has a big impact on somebody's state of mind, the environment that they're living inside. You're only 24, but you recently set up your company, Eden.
Yes.
Why did you decide to do that, to move back to Mongolia from the UK and set up a company now?
I think like my parents helped me to get this education, and now it's my responsibility to improve Mongolian interior design field and educate our clients, and to improve living conditions of other people. So I see it as my responsibility. So I really wanted to come to Mongolia, as all of my families are here. So I really wanted to come here and set up my own company and work on my way.
Well, I mean, the economy hasn't been great. Last year it only grew by 1%, but things are picking up. It grew by 5.3% in the first half of this year. Are you confident about your business in future, and how is business today?
I believe that interior design will be always important to us, to all of us, as our living spaces shape our future thoughts. So it's really important where we live, where we work, and so there will be always market for interior designers, and there will always be people who would want to change their environment.
Who are your main customers?
It's different. Sometimes we get residential projects, commercial projects, offices, and we get different projects. Yeah. Most of them are residential projects and offices.
That's exciting. How did you develop this business at such a young age? It is really impressive.
Since I was a little girl, I always wanted to have my own interior design company, and I always wanted to become the best interior designer in the world. And I always used to do research, so how I can become the best interior designer in the world. And that's why, since I was like 12 years old, my parents got me personal tutor. He was an interior designer, so he was...
Since you were 12?
Yes, so he was teaching me interior design courses, interior design subjects, modules that will be that can be taught in first year in Mongolia, in first year uni in Mongolia. So I knew like all the steps And so having my own interior design company was one of the steps.
It was a natural progression for you. Wow, it's so interesting. Where do you get your products from? Do you import them from overseas?
It depends on our clients. Sometimes it depends on their budget, and if they would like to get furniture from Italy, then we import it from Italy, and we will have to do a lot of research in order to choose which company, which brand, and then we choose from where to import and decide with our client. And some of our clients like to get their furniture from China. Some of them wants to get it from Mongolia, and some of them wants us to make it for them, like design it and build it for them.
Have you ever had any requests for something traditionally Mongolian?
Not yet, but I'm kind of I always wanted to design Mongolian gear in a unique way.
Yes.
So hopefully one day I'll get
the chance
that
to
kind
do
of
that.
project. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. You were working previously for a design company in the UK. How did that compare to working here?
When I was in England, I was working as a product designer, and here I'm working as an interior designer, and so it's quite different than the UK in Mongolia. And when I was working in England, everything was very clear and organized, and everything was running very smoothly. And
I think I know where this is going. Yeah.
And in England, like I would have all the schedules on the screen, and like
schedules.
Yeah, and in one day, like starting from 9 till 5, like I would have all the tasks, and I'll have to complete everything on time. And it's very well considered. So when I finish work at 5, I would complete everything. So it's very well calculated, I would say. And so like in my company, I try to use the same method, and we try to plan everything and try to complete everything on that day, what we planned.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is it working? Because that's not generally how business is done in Mongolia. It's a little more fluid.
Sometimes it doesn't, because sometimes it's because of the other companies we collaborate, or it depends on our client, and sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the time it works.
That's fantastic.
Thank
You're
you.
bringing new standards to Mongolia. That's good. What is next for you? What do you want to do if you win this competition, Miss World?
If I win at Miss World, then I'll get a chance to travel all around the world and to do charities. And so it will be like the greatest thing, that my life purpose will, come true, and it will be like a miracle for me. And and if I win, then it's great, and if I don't win, it's okay, because I still have other plans to do, and I'll still work hard to complete my life purpose, and to
continue with your business. Yeah. A lot of people say that it's not possible to be more than one thing. You are a model, you're an interior designer, an environmental activist. Do you think it's possible to be more than one thing in this day and age?
I would say it is possible if we want to. Yeah, we can do everything we want if we just have proper plan, and if we really want to do that, then it can happen, and it is possible.
And do you think that they help each other, those different aspects of your life? Like being a model helps you with your environmental work, raising awareness, for example, and maybe your design work helps you with modeling? I don't know. Do you find
there are links? Yeah. For instance, as an interior designer, I have to work with different clients with different characters and personalities. So I have to be like a psychologist sometimes, you know. I have to understand the client, and I have to understand his interests or her interests, and what he likes, what he doesn't, and is in order to create the right concept for them. And also I'll need different skills in order to understand our client and to present our idea. For instance, like I need to be confident when I'm presenting, and I'll need to be good at convincing our clients, for instance, or explaining things. And so I would say everything I have experienced so far helps to do what I'm doing now.
Yes.
Yes.
So people shouldn't necessarily be so binary about what we do.
Yeah. I think we just have one life, so we should enjoy our life and enjoy the moment and be present, and we just need to do what we want to do and what we love to do. So
definitely.
So
tell us about a little bit more about your time in the UK. I actually went to Cambridge as well for a semester on exchange, and it was really fun. I remember punting along the river. Did you do that? What did you enjoy doing when you were there?
When I was in England, the experience I had in the UK and in Italy was completely different. And in England, I was mainly focusing on my studies, and I was very active there, and I was working as a student representative, and I was working as a design buddy. And design buddy means like we have to assist our first year students. When I was in second year student, I had to assist our first year students in order to...
You were studying design?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And
so you were a mentor, basically.
yeah. Yeah. And also I was in enterprise society, and so it's like for entrepreneurs. And also I was a member of ballet society.
Do you do ballet?
It's just like a hobby.
Oh, wow.
I was doing a lyrical ballet. It's a combination of contemporary ballet with the classical ballet. So I really enjoyed my time there. It was like one of the greatest memories of my life there in England. And
yeah, it's an amazing place culturally, and especially for business and design.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly. Yeah. And it's only 50 minutes from London, so I can go to different exhibitions and different design shows and events. And so
brilliant.
It was very interesting for me, and I got the chance to participate in international design competitions and also UK-based competitions.
Which competitions did you take part in?
It was called Charrette. It was organized by the BIID, British Institute of Interior Designers, and we presented our school as a group. And yeah, it was the event was organized at Zaha Hadid's store.
Really?
So the store was amazing, and it was one of the greatest experiences I had in the UK. Yeah.
I mean, the UK is such a centre for design, has been for so many years.
Yeah.
So I imagine it would have been really fun and exciting.
Yeah, that's right.
And what about Italy?
In Italy, it was very relaxing, and it was very fun place to study. And just going around the city was like walking in a fairy tale, almost like a fairy tale. Like I feel like I'm in a movie, you know. It would feel like you know, I would feel like I'm in Renaissance area, you know, era, and like I was so happy to see all the amazing artworks, all the amazing popular artworks at the Uffizi Museum. So it was also a great experience for me.
Italy is just magnificent, isn't it?
Yeah, and the food is amazing, and the weather is so lovely, so I really enjoyed there.
It must have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the design style, how do they compare between the UK and Italy?
In the UK, it's very, there are very contemporary styles and also classical styles, but I would say in Italy there the details are really well done. And for instance, like just at the airport, like when you see the restroom at the airport, like you can see like the newest technologies there. You can see new designs there. I would say, like
so
you can
Italy
see moss wall and
cutting
like
edge.
yeah, more sustainable. But in England there are like, you can see also like great designs, but just I think they're kind of the buildings and are different, but the contemporary brands, for instance, or contemporary interiors are similar because they are on trend, and so they are kind of similar. But the design of the buildings are completely different. For instance, in Italy there are frescoes, and it's combined with contemporary furnitures, so that's also very nice. And in England, like for instance in Cambridge, there are a lot of Victorian buildings, and it's like all the apartments are very small, and the design is quite different. In Italy, like there are a lot of yellow and also terracotta tiles are used in most of the apartments. And for instance in Italy, in England, like you won't see terracotta tiles that much. So like that kind of, there are
more
that
industrial
kind,
era style perhaps, yeah. Oh, really interesting. Thank you again so much, Энхжин, for having us here. It was wonderful to speak with you.
Me too, thank you.
And good luck at the
Thank
competition.
you.
That was Энхжин Ц.Энхжин, the Miss World Mongolia for 2017, as well as the founder and interior designer at Eden Designs. And that brings this edition of Talk With Me to an end. I'm Grace Brown. You can follow us on Facebook. Our page is Talk With Me, Star TV Mongolia. We're also on Twitter at Talk With Me. Thank you for joining us, and hope you can tune in again next week. Bye, Tla, Beishte.